This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, everybody. Cheryl from Unleashed with my co-host, Geri. Say hi, Geri.
Hi, Cheryl. Hi, everybody.
Say hi, Marty.
And here he is. Okay.
So what should we talk about today? I have a couple of things. What would you like to talk about?
No, you were going to tell me a story about someone. Let me hear.
I wanted to tell you this story that I saw online. I don't know how I came up on it, but I have to really get more of the information. I'm sure people could find it. This guy from California, I think, sold everything he owned, bought himself like a huge camper, and went across the country and adopted as many dogs as he could.
Okay, I saw that on Facebook. I saw something on Facebook where he kept on picking
and
them
got
up.
them adopted.
Adopted out. I saw that on Facebook.
They're like having the ball of their lives because they're doing an adventure.
Yes.
Besides, he's adorable, and what a good heart.
He's a young man. He's a young man. He's absolutely, what a wonderful way to spend a couple of years just enjoying. And
he's so excited. He jumps up and down every time he adopts.
I saw that on Facebook, and you can find it on Facebook. It's a wonderful story.
But what he brought out is very important because he said the dog that you see crying or barking in the cage is not the same animal when they bring them out to see you. That's what they're using to get your attention. And it really is true because a lot of people walk right by a lot of animals that really would be a perfect, because, not everybody's a perfect fit.
Oh, they're too scared. Well, we're talking about an animal trying to communicate with you. They're too scared behind those gates to even show any kind of response.
Some are terrified and, cower.
Right.
And there's some that bark or growl or but that's not really who they are. So
no.
That's why I agree. They take them out of the cage. I mean, animal lovers would know. I mean, you could look at somebody, another, you could look at a dog that's like, and maybe try. I mean, we understand they come with baggage. They're in a freaking cage. I mean, it's a terrible thing. Maybe yesterday they were on a yacht and all of a sudden the owners got puppies. I'm talking about, owner surrender. Owner surrender is a totally different bag
That's a different
than,
story.
Animals who are just on their own, on the street.
Almost like a feral cat. That's a different story, but you're absolutely right that the temperament of that dog behind the cage as you're passing by is not the temperament of that dog if you spent some time with them. So I think I told you on another show, when I first got Marty, when he came home, it took almost a year before that dog even barked. And now, of course, we can't get him to shut up, as you could see it. He's making up for it. In the last show, he barked several times. But he was so withdrawn and so afraid and so timid, he forgot how to be a dog. And he didn't bark for almost a year.
They say it really does take up to 6 months in some cases for the dog to even relax when you rescue them.
Oh, my gosh.
That's why I really try to push. If people have the area, the finance, and they have a dog now, sometimes it's good to get another dog. Number one, it's a friend for that dog. Yeah. And he can show him the ropes.
Yeah, you've always said that.
Listen, we have 2 cars. We got numerous cell phones, numerous pocketbooks. I mean, what's another mouth to feed?
No, and it could be expensive in the vet
cheaper than sending a kid to college.
Oh, these days it is probably, but it's getting a close second, let me tell you. But it's still totally worth the return on the investment is much greater. I can tell you from having 2 kids and having many dogs.
I mean, I have friends that have 3 or 4 dogs, and they wouldn't have it any other way.
No, absolutely not. And
they're all like different sizes, different types.
Oh yeah. Well, I had 3 at one time. And they were, certainly different sizes, and they certainly were an expense, but they were just wonderful. And And they are a great return on the investment for sure. But it is something that I think most pet owners come to understand that, that's a communication that you have with your dog. And you get to learn what that dog is trying to tell you as well. So it does take time. You're adopting that dog from the kennel or from a situation that he's been kind of confined. His personality is not what it can be. So that guy who...
And they don't know what they should be because,
right.
You don't really know the backstory. But
no.
I think the first thing when you take an animal home is trust. I remember when I adopted Daniel Boone. And when he meowed on the way home, and he's a big cat, and he didn't look like he was too thrilled with me, but I just think it was the whole situation.
So you think his meow he was scared?
I think he was scared, and I said to him, because I talk to my animals.
Right. Don't we all?
I said, I will never leave you. And he settled down.
Settled down.
I know that, because I've been back to the shelter where I got him a few different times, and I've heard the story of him. He came to me. He was fixed. Unfortunately, they did declare him, which I've never done to an animal.
Right.
And he was chipped, but he definitely was loved. This animal, not skitterish, not a loud noise, not a loud voice. He was loved no matter where he was. And, and the age that I got him, which I think was 6 or 7. So he lived somewhere. So somebody loved him. I don't think he was living out on the street for 7 years.
No, he looked like he was in wonderful condition and he was taken care of.
He trust. And, when I brought him home, and I've said this before, my female, because I had lost a male a few months before, she was never alone, and she was always she smelt him, she ran under the bed, that was it. He spent the whole night under the bed with her.
Oh.
Just being there. He didn't ask for anything, he just was there. And, and unfortunately...
That was the first day you brought him home? He was that comfortable?
Yeah, he went under the bed.
That's
he stayed under the bed. Yeah, well, they tell you, keep them separate for 10, not in my life.
Right, right.
I don't go for that. It's got to be what it's got to be. But he spent the whole night under the bed, and they were friendly, and I fed them. I have a double bowl, so I feed them together. I never like to separate that because then they think that you're separating them.
All right.
And
okay.
then I did get a different litter box in the very beginning. I didn't, but somebody suggested it, and I did. But I have to tell you, when I took Daniel out, they gave him something for, a flea, something for fleas. I never had fleas because, my cats were inside, and even my outdoor patio is a pet screen, which is very small. But I ended up, like a couple of weeks later, I got fleas, torturous. But it turned out to be the best thing for my cats because I brought them to get, I bombed, you had a bomb.
But how did you get the fleas, though?
I have no idea. I
no
guess
idea.
Maybe they came.
Because it didn't come in on the cat.
Maybe not. Maybe I brought him in. You walk outside. Maybe there was an opening in my screen. I have no idea. I know they could jump 20 feet. But they really were in my patio because I used to do a test. I used to go with my white socks because I bombed that. I didn't let them in there for a good 2 weeks. I bombed it 3 times. I bombed it. Wow. I bombed it. But I bombed the rest of the house too. And when I brought it to, my groomer, and she dipped them and all of that stuff. And then when I wanted to bomb again, I brought them, and then she said, why don't you leave them overnight? And I said, that's great. I said, put them in the same cage. And that they came out, engaged.
And that's what made them kind of bond.
They bonded right then and there.
Okay, yep. So that was the good part of the fleece story.
That's the only good part of having fleece.
Okay, all right.
And then, I went in every day with my white socks to see if I had, and they were gone. Yeah. And then I vacuumed. And I didn't know. I had never bombed before because I never had fleas anywhere. So I kind of stayed around looking for what I didn't know. It's like a puff of air that you can't really see. I kept saying, maybe it's not working. I bought so many of them from Home Depot. I must have had 12.
Yeah.
I did them in all different rooms. You put them high, you put them low.
Well, in the end, as I said, I think that if he was that comfortable from day one, certainly having them together in the in the cage that one night that they stayed overnight probably just solidified a great relationship between those two cats. Either they were going to fight, or they were going to be friendly. Sometimes you can't do that with dogs. I mean, you have to be aware, and I do think that women have an intuitive nature to kind of pick up when an animal is scared, or, certainly we can tell.
Body language, barks, growls, smiles.
Right? I mean, they tell us basically what they're feeling, and certainly, we know what to look for, with the ears being pushed back, or I know when Marty is just, when he's excited, I can tell when he's excited. I can tell when his bark, if he's annoyed, that
and they
low
get stiff
growl.
too. I think they get stiff too. I mean, animals definitely are, express themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that it's up to us as owners to interpret, when they're annoyed, leave them alone.
Right.
He does not like it. If I go and touch those, as I said, he's had sensitive paws from day one. He's got some skin issues going on in between the pads of his paws. I cannot touch those paws. And he will give me a low growl if I don't trim the nails. I have to take him to the vet. If I try to just see if there's something, irritating in the paw, if I try to touch that paw, that dog gives me a look and a low
Back
growl
off.
that clearly says, stay away. And I know that dog loves me. And I wouldn't hesitate that he's totally safe. I'm never afraid to be around him. I only have him the 2 years. But I know to respect his feelings.
Yeah, animals do have feelings, and you do have to respect them.
Yeah, I know to respect. He does not like those paws touched. So I said, okay, Marty, I'm not touching them. And then he'll come over and he'll nudge me, and he gives me that sweet kind of snuggle. But when he wants to be left alone, he clearly makes it known that he's not happy. And then there's those barks and growls that are happy growls, and you figure it out after time with any.
And you can and also looks, even with cats, they give
I'm
you
sure.
a look. You can tell by their eyes if they're sad,
right?
If I hurt their feelings.
Yes.
I mean, my little one, she could wake me up at 4:00 in the morning and be bold about it. She doesn't care. I mean, It's not even light out. She's getting older and she wants her way. And she'll hit me on my head if I don't get out of bed. So sometimes it's just easier to give in, but...
I think so.
Yeah,
okay.
I know, but what are you going to do, All right, let's take a break and then we'll come back and let's talk about what we're going to talk about. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Listeners, I'd love to introduce you to PetPlate.com. They deliver freshly cooked human-grade dog food right to your door. I've been feeding PetPlate to my pup for the last 2 weeks, and it's perfect for my picky pup and perfect for me since I'm so busy. So if you want something super healthy, really tasty, and ready to serve, go to petplate.com/spot to get 30% off your first box. PetPlate.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
We're back, and
So what are we talking about this segment, Cheryl?
I would like to
Etiquette.
talk about dog parks.
Yes, you were saying that.
I'm
Okay.
really into dog parks. I really want to get a dog.
I think that you're going to need to get a dog to
I think
get
I want to
into
get a
dog-
schnauzer. They really like agility.
Ah. So what's the proper etiquette at dog parks?
Well,
I don't take Marty because he's old and
Yeah, it's not for every dog. And,
It's not for every dog.
Right. I mean, certainly the one by me, it has an agility course, plus it has, it's a big area. So I think they might have one area for smaller dogs. They say not to mix, even if your dog is good with big dogs, not to really mix them up at a dog park with the bigger dogs. There's a whole bunch of stuff goes on. First of all, you have to really keep your eyes open when you go different times to see the type of dogs that are there.
See, the few times that I've seen people at dog parks, the people are socializing and the dogs are off playing.
That's
and they're
what
not
you have
paying
to,
any attention.
Right, but you have to be responsible for your dog. Now, you have to also keep in mind that they say not to let your dog get too excited and run with the pack. Like a few minutes of fun, and then they stop, and a few minutes of fun. They even were saying, I've read, how to tell when they're having fun is like they pounce like puppies.
Right,
and then they pause.
Yes.
But if there's a bully in the mix, that has to be separated. But first, you need to bring your own water for yourself and for your dog and a bowl for him. You don't want your dog drinking out of, they have a big bowl there, I think. They have a fountain. You know, I wouldn't drink out of a fountain with his, not when we have bottled water.
I think also just sharing, maybe it's that pecking order, who goes first and which dog might be put off by another dog pushing him out of the way. I know, my dog is a little food aggressive, and so I think that's a good idea.
But he's not food aggressive that he's nasty about it. He just wants to eat.
No. Marty can be nasty, so, I don't put food down when there's another dog visiting.
And that's what they say, not to bring any food. They say to bring a toy, but expect to lose it. Now, I would never even think that somebody would bring a toy from their own house, because if your own dog saw you giving a toy to another animal,
maybe they get jealous. Yes.
Yeah, they say a ball, but that you should really watch and see how they react. If it was me bringing my dog for the first time, I would keep my dog on a leash and just assess the situation. They say even when you are outside of the fence, and hopefully there's two fences to make sure that when somebody opens, there's,
there's
safety.
A second gate to open. Right.
But these dogs will sense that there's another dog there. And this way you could judge your dog's reaction and their dog and the other dogs. Because some dogs might want to be friendly and some dogs not.
Some not. Right.
But they said absolutely not to have them run with a pack, meaning they would get too excited. Playing is fine.
And I have to say, the few times when I'm visiting my grandsons and they have a dog park in their development and we bring their dog, I have to say those dogs look like they're having a lot of fun running together.
Well, I think it's not for every dog, but it really is important, because when you think about 1,000 years ago, dogs were like, they hunted for us. They protected us. They herded for us. And now we got them sitting on a couch.
Right. They're wolves. Their ancestry is wolves. They're a pack animal. They're going to respond to a pack environment. Every dog descended from a wolf, no question about it.
But it's very good for their socializing also.
Yes.
They not only that, and exercise, because they will run.
Wonderful.
Even if they don't, not every dog is good with agility. Although I think it's a terrific thing for the dog and the owner to do.
You've said that before, and I've never seen a dog park with an agility course here. And what a great idea, because I think it just adds to some
Especially very hyper dogs, like Schnauzers are very intelligent. They like it. A dog that is hyper, that has a lot of energy. Some dogs that, aren't for a family, like say of, 65, 75-year-old people who aren't going to take them out for long walks.
High-energy dogs, no. The 65, 75-year-old people need an older kind of a dog that's a little slower, for sure. And there are high-energy dogs that should have high-energy owners that, are going to be able to get out there and run. I see people running on trails with their dogs all the time, young people.
Yes.
And that's wonderful. And they're running, the dog is running next to them. So that dog, that muscle tone is beautiful. You have to know what you're comfortable. I think if you know what type of pet you're comfortable with, that's the best thing that you can do as an owner is to get the type of dog that would match your personality and your energy level. Big mistake if you're getting a dog that doesn't match your energy level. Right. You're making a huge mistake. Both of you won't enjoy each other.
Right. So you really have to. So I would suggest to anybody that is thinking of taking their dog for the exercise. I know it's warm now in the summer, but when you think about it, off leash, it's a wonderful thing in an enclosed area for an animal to run free.
Yes, it is. So the dog park is a great addition to whatever other exercise you want to engage your dog in.
But it's not for everybody. So we're not saying that, to push it. But if it is for you and for your dog, and, you could try it. And if the dog likes it, it's great. If the dog doesn't like it, you could take, you could leave. Different dog parks have different dogs,
Right.
It's like a neighborhood. Right. But, and there's different times a day that, different people go, and it really does depend. But one of the things that would be very important is a dog that would come to you immediately, because then you could, if there is anything that's going to happen.
That makes a huge difference.
They have to be able to come to you. They have this new word now that they're using called settle. Settle, like the dog stops, like when you go to people's houses and the dog jumps up on you.
Yes.
Which I personally don't like. I don't like a big dog jumping up on me. I love dogs, but, that's not necessary. So this is called settle, where, when the doorbell rings and the dog runs around and barks and barks and barks, that you settle. And then once the guest comes in and, then the dog greets them, but they have, I saw how they train for that. They use a blanket and they get the dog to put one paw on the blanket. They give him a treat, and they keep doing it till all 4 paws are on the blanket.
That's a great idea.
I never heard of the word settle, but I can understand that.
I didn't either. I like it. I'll try it with Marty. They say you can't teach an old dog. No, he's pretty good. But I
he
can't
comes
say
to you
that
if you call him, right? If he was out.
No, I don't think so. No, I think he'd be distracted. He's not that well trained, I have to say. If he was really having fun and I called him, I don't think he would listen to me. In fact, I can tell you, I know he wouldn't listen to me. He chases rabbits on the front lawn. I call him, and when he comes back when he's done chasing the rabbits. So,
okay, like I'll see you.
All right.
Yeah,
all right,
like I'll see you around. Okay, that's good.
Around, yes.
In this environment, because there's other dogs there, and once they sense that they could be alpha, and I could take your toy, or I could, because they say the play should be they take turns. One jumps on the other, and then the other one jumps on that one. That's fair play. But I guess what they were trying to warn about is they get excited, and once they get excited, they see nothing but what excited them, which means, and that can't be, not when you're in a situation where there's a lot of dogs. I mean, some of these parks could have 20 dogs in them. I wouldn't want my dog to be part of that pack.
No.
But I do want to get a dog, but I would put him on the leash the first couple of times I brought him. He would definitely have to be a social dog. But who knows?
Who knows?
When you fall in love, you never know.
And you never know who you fall in love with, Cheryl. So we'll see.
But they have to also have their shots, and you have to, speak to your vet and make sure about kennel cough. Yeah. Because kennel cough could clear a room.
Yes, it certainly can.
They call it I'm going to try to pronounce it. Bordotella. How do you like that?
Yeah.
I like kennel cough is easy. We'll be right back after this break.
Okay, time to call off the dogs. We'll be back with more biting topics right after we kibble a little with our sponsors.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets.
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, everybody. We're back. I think we covered a lot of stuff.
I think we did. We covered a lot today, Chef.
But I want to remind everybody, because it's summer, not to keep your pets in a car, not even for a minute, not to run in and pick up, your cleaning, nothing. Really, we have to really make a conscious effort that they are family and the cars get hot.
Yeah.
Down in Florida, your car could get hot in 5 minutes. There's
no question about it.
So no dog in a car, on the pavement. I think a lot of baths. I remember one summer back in New York, it was hot. That my cat looked like he was melting. I poured him under the sink with cold water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he didn't like me, but afterwards,
cats I didn't think liked
me.
Water. But, he loved you. Oh.
Well,
and then
I saved
some of them
his
like
brain.
being in water.
They don't, but I do bathe my cats. I'm right now in the mix of wanting to bathe Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he got a good haircut over the winter. He was a Marine, and everything has grown back. And, I brush him all the time. But right now, he's not knotted. See, the thing is, if I bathe him, even though I'll brush him and, they like to lick themselves dry, he could make himself have knots.
Yes.
So I'm kind of waiting till I see a knot. Because I got a new shampoo. Actually, I got a dog shampoo, but I don't care.
And what did you get?
It's got shampoo and conditioner together, just like I use. So how big could it be? He's got very thick
and that'll
fur.
Control that. He's long hair, if I remember correctly. He's a long hair.
He's a Maine Coon. But and he gets hot in the summer. But so far he hasn't seemed to complain. Although the other day he was hanging off the chair, I thought he was dead.
Oh my gosh!
The head, he was like. He melted.
Aww.
I had to push him. And then he woke up, startled.
Wouldn't it be great if we had a water source, like a lake or a pool for our animals? Wouldn't that be fun in the summer?
They do. You should check. Yeah. Most towns, a couple of times in the summer, they close down the pool and they let the dogs come.
I have not heard that. So they close down a town pool and let your pets come in?
One day. I bet you the pets don't pee in the pool.
I bet they don't. Now, I have seen very high-end pet facilities that have a pool at the facility, at a boarding facility. I have seen that, but I've not seen a public town pool converted to a pet pool. I'm going to have to check that out, Cheryl.
Well, there are some
maybe
resorts.
In Florida.
There are some. I think it's everywhere. I've seen them online. It's gone to the dogs. They're always how adorable! It's very cute. It's a nice thing to do. Maybe it's at the end of the summer. Well, the end of the summer would be Labor Day, so
yeah.
And you wouldn't want to ruin that.
The last week of the summer, that could be an idea.
But they do have some resorts. I know that there are some places for horses that they walk them into like a pool situation, like a lane, because it's very good for them. When you're in water, you weigh nothing.
Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. It's very refreshing. I mean, don't we all want to be in water? I want to be in water now. It's 100 degrees here today.
Well, you must have a town pool.
Well, of course, we have several town pools, but not for animals. But if I go now, it's too crowded, so forget about it. In fact, it's going to start to pour rain. I hear thunder.
Well, I'm not saying today, but you should check on what days would be better. Weekends, I would think it would be crowded, but if you went early in the morning, like at 9 o'clock, and just you get a swim in.
I know, it is. And it's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Early in the morning.
If it's close by. I could walk across the street. But, it's hot now.
The
water is hot.
The water's hot. You can hear thunder in the background here. Marty may bark because he doesn't like the thunder, as most dogs kind of react to it.
But he doesn't react where you need a thunder coat, right? A thunder shirt?
No. But, I love that idea of a thunder coat. I like the idea.
You could use a towel also if you don't have the coat.
I think you gave me a great idea. If you wet a towel, you're making it heavy. That's like a thunder coat. Anything that's heavy on the dog.
It's the whole idea is is to surround them.
Right.
So they feel enclosed. I think that's their, because I had a friend, she would take, for July 4th, she would take her dog on a long ride.
Yeah.
She just kept the dog in the car.
In the car.
Until the fireworks stopped. A lot of animals, this was the first year that, because I get to see the fireworks right out my back. I mean, I could touch them. The first year I had Daniel, he wanted to stay in the room with me. So I got him in May, and this was in July. This year, it bothered him. And I never push it. When it thunders, even when they mow the lawn, they don't like the sound of that. They like to come in because they hang out in my back patio all day.
Right.
They live out there. They go in, they go out. I leave the door open. But any kind of real high decimal noise bothers them. Bothers me too.
Yes, they do. No, I hear it. I hear you. So totally understand that. Aside from howling, I had a dog that howled a lot at one. It was part beagle, and apparently that was his response to hearing that noise was howling. But Marty just goes right under the bed, and that's where he stays.
They even say music.
Yeah,
to put the radio on. It's not even the sound of necessarily the sound. Animals here, like my cats were responding before because it was going to rain because they felt that the thunder was going to happen. They
felt the vibration.
Yeah, they're just so much more advanced than us.
Yes,
in so many ways. Mm-hmm. So they know, what's happening. So it bothers them. Their ears are very sensitive.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think that all in all, if everybody who's listening goes and adopts another pet, I'll be happy.
Yep. And
loves them, I'll be happy.
Doesn't keep them in the car in the summer. And that's a big thing in the summer for sure. Just enjoy. Just enjoy.
Yeah, not a lot of people like to bring their pets with them everywhere they go. And not every pet it should happen with. You don't need to bring your pet every single place you go. Unless it's a comfort dog.
No.
I mean, an animal would much rather, instead of sitting in a car for 2 minutes or going to this person's house for no reason, just so you could bring your dog, they might want to just stay home and relax.
No. And many times it's much better to leave them there. Absolutely.
And that's what they say with, to bring up against with the dog parks. Just because your animal is maybe friends with your friend's animal doesn't mean that it's going to be sociable
with anybody else,
with somebody, with a strange dog. But I do want to tell our listeners that if they ever witness a dog beginning to fight and there is no hose there, because yes, you use a hose for more than, what we would use a hose for when two dogs get together, if you get my drift. But when they're having sex, Geri, just in case you didn't figure it out.
Okay.
And also never bring an animal that is not fixed, which I don't think you would be. But if you ever see an animal that they're going to start to fight, you have to be one-on-one, even with the other dog's owner, that you don't grab them by the collar because they'll turn around and even bite you. You grab them by the thighs of their back legs, like a wheelbarrow. Just lift them right up. I never
said that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I never heard that before.
And
but somebody told me also when their dog jumped up on them, their parents touched their back paws with their feet, and the dog went down. I never heard of that. I guess every animal might learn differently. We all learn differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what works for you is what you should do.
So I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank Mark. I want to thank Geri. I want to thank Marty.
You,
Marty, say goodbye.
Say goodbye, Marty.
And I want to remind everybody to live life unleashed. See you next time. Don't forget, if you want to contact us on Facebook, it's Unleashed Radio Show with Cheryl Kay. And if you have any questions for Geri and I, we'd be more than glad to answer them. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.